Hello children, welcome back to the class. Today we will learn how was the beginning of revolt. India was divided into small kingdoms which were often at war with one another. The British took advantage of this and playing their divide and rule policy, they slowly colonized most of India. The Grand Mughals had become weak by the time. They were no longer able to defend the country. People were extremely unhappy with the subsidiary alliance and the doctrine of lapse policies laid by the British. The East India Company had fixed the price of many goods. Farmers and traders were forced to sell their goods at these prices even though they were clearly unprofitable. Farmers were forced to grow cotton for the factories in England. Farmers, traders, craftsmen, and other working people, they were forced to pay high taxes. Everyone was unhappy. The soldiers, both Muslims and Hindus, were unhappy because they were forced to do things which went against their religion. By 1857, this discontent had spread to most parts of India. For the first time, some of them got together and started a joint revolt against the British. They united under the leadership of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the last Mughal emperor, to free themselves from the British rule. Nana Sahib Tatya Tope, who was born in the year 1893 to a Brahmin family in Pune, was one of the first freedom fighters in India. Even when Lord Dalhousie prevented Nana Sahib of the power transformation from his father, Tatya started to revolt against the British. The occupation of Kanpur by the British led to Tatya Tope and Rani Lakshmibai to join hands to revolt together against the British East Indian Army. Rani Lakshmibai from Jhansi and Liaquat Ali Khan, they called together upon the people to rise and fight for justice. The mutiny of 1857 had begun. Indians fought bravely but could not win as the East Indian Company had much better arms and weapons and it had a large army. The first war of independence had happened. It lasted for about 1 year. Many Indians lost their lives but the struggle for independence continued. Mangal Pandey was an Indian sepoy. He shot and killed a British officer in March 1857. Later, he was hanged to death. The revolt of 1857 is also called as Sepoy Mutiny. Even though the Indians lost, the British got a shocking fright. They could not afford to lose India. India was a jewel in the British crown. The British government took over the settlements of the East India Company. Queen Victoria was declared as the Empress of India. She would select a governor general and viceroys who would rule India on her behalf. Now we will learn about the struggle for freedom that continued. Though the 1857 revolt was put down sternly and forcefully by the British, we will not be wrong if we call it as successful. It created a huge wave of nationalism which spread across the length and breadth of India. Indians learnt valuable lessons from this defeat. Social reformers like Swami Vivekanand, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Dayananda Saraswati, and Sir Syed Ahmad Khan began to think about the reasons that had helped the British come to power. They realized that our own disunity and backwardness had played an important role. They urged people to give up certain beliefs and customs like sati. The sati term means in the Hindu practice of widow burning or the burning of the living widow with the corpse or dead body of her husband. The term sati is applied to the widow. It means a woman who sacrifices herself on her husband's funeral pyre as a token of her love and devotion to her husband. Even the child marriage, the caste discrimination, and untouchability. They were giving more importance to more children, etc. So they encouraged people to educate themselves. They believed that educated women and girls would contribute in building a progressive society. Leaders from different parts of India came together and formed an organization. They were looking for a platform where they could meet and discuss national issues. So, the Indian National Congress was formed on 28/12/1885. Dadabhai Nauroji, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and Surendranath Banerjee came to be known as the moderates. They believed in putting forth the demands for reforms politely. They thought that the British would see reason in their demands and grant them. A British civil servant, Alan Octavian Hume, was a supporter of the Indian National Congress. The moderates would discuss the problems Indians were facing. They were also seeking important positions in the government. They felt that the British would respect and realize their mistakes and demand for the reforms and freedoms made by the Indians. The British kept ignoring the request of the moderates. The younger members of the Indian National Congress, namely Balagangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, and Bipin Chandrapal, felt that if such a mild approach was adopted, India had no chance of independence. They wanted Swaraj or total independence. These people were called the radical nationalists. Tilak believed that every citizen of India had right to demand independence. He urged the people across the country to unite in such a difficult times. He inspired the Indian citizens through his inspirational articles in his own newspaper called as Kesari. He was very critical of the British, and he was famously quoted for the slogan, "Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it." The moderates and the radicals differed in their methods to bring about reforms.